All right. Hey, hey, hey. We are live. I think everything is looking good there, as much as it can be. Focus was a little acting strange earlier, but I think it's a little better. Good to see you guys. Scotch for Dummies, I think, just ended. Hey, thanks a lot, Tom. I didn't cut into the Scotch for Dummies, I hope. I know that they were visiting with Lee, and it's good to see her. It's funny. They're right. I remember when they started, she was one of the first people to be a patron and get on board. And it's kind of cool how the interaction like took off, and the community has been pretty locked together ever since then. And it's just grown, and that's what really kind of this show is about. Is the you know you're in this hobby, thankfully it's a social one as well, so as much as you want it to be, and hopefully you'll find people that, even though if they don't have the same type of regions that you might be into, you might be more of a lowland slash highland person that just likes uh, low key flavors, and that's just your cup of tea. And then your whiskey buddy might be more into Isla or something heavier, a peaty or a sherry bomb like Abelow or something. Um, but the thing about it is, treat each other as well as you can, because um, you know make things as equal as you can. I know sometimes you get like you might be sharing something, and this other person might be giving you some crazy high dollar sample, and you're like, wow, I mean, how can I you know even come close to making this equal? You just do the best you can, and the people are usually pretty understandable that not everyone is able to do the same thing as everybody else can. It's just a thought, I think, that counts. And I've been lucky enough to well, it's been a while, unfortunately, and Roy is in Scotland. Hey, Gawkin, good to see you. Kamara, how you say it? Kamara Haji Shiv, I think so. I can't remember. It's been a while. I get my Scottish Gaelic mixed up with Irish Gaelic. Like throwing them all is different than, I think it's Kamar Haji Shiv or something like that. You know what I'm probably trying to say. I was doing a little studying, and then if I don't use it, I forget it all. It's kind of sad. But Roy Aqvavitae is also what he goes by. He's got a really nice YouTube channel, outstanding information. Check it out when you get a chance. He sent, I can't remember exactly how long it's been. It's been a little while, and I haven't got to it because I wanted to do it proper justice, sitting down with not a lot of other things going on, and do a couple of these drams from actual samples from people. This is intriguing. I'm sure he knows by my background that Laphroaig is my top 1 and 2 distilleries. I kind of fight with Ardbeg. I mean, Lagavulin too. I've been growing on Lagavulin. It's been growing on the bottom, the whole entire shelf there. So it's kind of those are my top 3, and they all fight with each other as being number 1. It depends on my mood. But anyway, this Laphroaig is a cast sample that he actually hand drawn, and I poured. The reason why it's half empty is I poured it out earlier to give it some oxidation justice. Let it sit out for a bit. And I was trying to figure out what I could find out from the label, and it says number 97, 2005. And then it has 50.6, which, that's a great ABV. And I'm wondering if that means that it was actually, what's the word for it? That it was cast in 2005. And this is hand drawn on the 2nd of June in 2018. That would mean, and I don't know if this is correct, that it's 13 years old. And that's surprising. Little older than what you would find out of a typical Laphroaig for age statements, until you jump from 10. And since they don't sell the 15 or 18 any longer, you got to go up to like a 25, I want to say. I'm trying to remember the lowest age statement they make. A 27 you see a lot. There's a 32. I think the 25 or 21, if the 21 is kind of a rarity, but I think the 25 might be let me know if you know, but I think the 25 might be the next age statement that they make available, unfortunately. So being a 13, I was like, and he's right. It's funny. It's in his label, which has his nice insignia on there. Check it out. He has a nice website as well. It's not whiskey until it's shared, a gift to Telex from Aqvavitae. That's very, very nice. I've been thinking of how can I return the favor, Troy, since it's very difficult to ship things sometimes unless you're really, crafty about shipping salsa kind of thing. And so if I'm not able to do that, I'm going to definitely come up with something that, will hopefully make it a nice Christmas for him if I can get it over there in time. I'm kind of running out of time. I better do something soon. But I really appreciate it, Roy. And we're definitely going to sip that. And we're also going to look at, this was a sample from Bobby Parnell. It's Old Particular Talisker 8 by Douglas Lane, distilled 2009, bottled 2018. It's a 48.4. Still nice ABV, non-chill filtered, no coloring. It's a refill hogshead, one of 393 bottles. That's all. That's surprisingly low. 700 milliliter that was purchased from the Whiskey Exchange. So that is another one. And recently, Talisker released a cask strength 8, I've heard. I have seen, I think, a couple reviews floating around. I haven't watched one yet. But that's on my radar. I need to get my hands on a distillery cask strength 8 bottle. I just have not seen one yet, and there's a couple things I got to get ready for next week. We'll talk about that later after we go through these. I'm thinking we probably should start, because the peat with the Laphroaig is going to be more intense. Parts per million, I think, are around 40 parts per million. Usually in Ardbegs, Laphroaigs might even be a little lower than that. I'm thinking like 35. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm dead on that one. The Talisker is more, that's an islands instead of an Isla. It has peat, but it's definitely not as forward. So I think we'll start with the Talisker 8 and go with that. And Bobby Parnell, if you're on, which I don't see you on yet, hopefully get a chance to stop by, because I'm very grateful to be able to partake. And I did offer Bobby something in exchange. He declined it and say he needed anything, but maybe I'll try to find a way to make it up to him. Hopefully, I think he's in Texas, I want to say. Don't ever really get down there, but if I ever do, hopefully at least meet up for a dram and buy him a glass or something. Very nice. Let's see. The color is light, but that's okay, because this is 8-year. It's not ultra old. It's there's no extra coloring in it, and I like natural. If I can get natural, I'll take it. That's the way I want it. It does hold its shape really well. It's a very slow runner, which makes me think that the probably also from the 48.4 ABV. Interesting. It's like I'm used to the Talisker 10, which is like your go-to Talisker bottle, of course. It's pretty heavy on the nose when it comes to. Yeah, I mean, you get some maritime notes, but you get a lot of like smoke in that signature peat. You can even smell the pepper. I can on a Talisker. This is not as forward on the smoke, really. I mean, there's slight smoke, maybe really deep. But this is funny, because it reminds me, it has like a lot of like a really nice blend of sweet heather, floral notes, reminiscent of a Japanese nose. Maritime, but I don't get that funky seashell kind of things that I sometimes get with the Talisker. Or an Old Pulteney, something that's got that, character to it. This is a little more, really nice sweet balance, a little more sugary, sweet smelling. But really nice fruit, really nice light fruit, and you also get some ginger, some pear, some white grapes. and some really nice white pepper on the nose even. And that's not even getting to the palate. I mean, that's pretty good. It's amazing how when you think Talisker, you think a little deeper, a little at least medium to deep on the smoke and the peat, but on the nose, but not on this guy. And with it being younger, I'm surprised, but maybe it's just not as maybe with being a refill hogshead, maybe that made a difference, or maybe they just didn't just smoke it as much as they do their other casks they get the other stuff from. I'm just kind of trying to guess of why it's so nice and light. It reminds me of I want to say Anika. Trying to remember if it was whiskey from the barrel or something else. It was something like that. Well, let's go for a taste because I don't want to get all, into the Japanese comparison if it's not there on the palate. And I have a feeling you never know. Hey, Scotch for Dummies, thanks for stopping by. Catching up here most. Always good to see you. Swami, good to see you. But yeah, I wish I had some salmon cheesecake and some fried bologna. We were talking about some of the food pairings that the Scotch for Dummies have done with some of their nosing notes over the years, and they come up with some interesting ones: cream corn and extra marzipan, all sorts of crazy stuff. Roy is great. Great mash burn. Just catching up. Steven, good to see you. Steve A, thanks for joining. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider it before you take off, and thumbs up if you don't mind. Does it go good with hillbilly round steak? I think that's going to take more of a smoky Scotch there, bud, if I had to take a guess. Great night of live streams. Thanks, Thermos. We have any SNLs in December? Malta Montreal. Always asking Swami if he's going to have some Saturday Night Lives, it looks like. Yeah, it's hard to have a set schedule unless you are doing just one. If you do like a couple, it's hard to do them like consistently. WEEAAX. Now, Moose, that's my call sign. It's W3AAX, Whiskey 3 Alpha Alpha X-ray. I'm a radio operator, and I talk to people all over the world over shortwave, high frequency, very high frequency, ultra high frequencies, all sorts of different things. Got a lot of equipment you can't see on this other side, but there's like QSL cards, so which we collect from all over the countries, from all over the world on this side over here. Look up ham radio on the side and you get a chance to see what I mean. Yeah, it's not no smoke at all. Nick it straight from the barrel. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking it reminded me of, maybe. But let's see to the palate first. Yep, W3AX from Kilo Charlie Zero, Lima Hotel Tango. On the other hand, cool. It's a small world. Ooh, wow. That is different. That is different. Not necessarily bad, just not anything what I expected. Being a Talisker. This isn't independent bottling though. Old Particular 8 from Douglas Lane. The first reaction is a little harsh. Not harsh as in like too much ABV. 48.4. It should be a sweet spot. It's got a lot of pepper in there. I mean, it's like it's pretty heavy on. And I'm getting both white and black pepper on this guy. Wow. I didn't get a lot of fruit on the palate, but I think it was just so intense with the pepper that it kind of like blindsided me. I'm going to have to go in for another sip here and see what we get. And I had to let these sit out for quite a while. That's a spicy, peppery dram, man. Wow. Not bad. A little dry, though. Wish I got more fruit out of it. Or, it's got a nice creaminess, though. I am getting some honey, some really light, like vanilla, cream, that kind of thing going on, but it's so dry. I think, and Mr. Lee's not here, so he's not going to yell at me. I might have to put a couple drops on this just to even it out just a little bitty bit, maybe. And the more I'm nosing it, the spicier the nose is getting. It's really bizarre. It's definitely a changing. I'm still getting the fruit, thankfully, though. Might have to pour a little more so we can add a little water. It's better the more I taste it. It is growing on me. My first initial thing was, wow, that's a lot of pepper. That's spicy. But now that I know what to expect, I'm thinking if I give it literally, and I'm just talking like, you know, couple drops here. This may just tone that spice just a little bit down. Just take it from like an 11 to like a 8 or a 9. That's what my goal is, not to get rid of it per se, but to get it just at a more manageable deal where I can get other notes out without really having to dig too much with it. It might make it not so dry. Sometimes I get lucky when I add a couple of drops to a really dry dram, but it doesn't always work that way. There is some science behind it to a point. Nika Street, okay, we're catching up with some comments. Trinity and C will be on Sorry Not Live. Okay, with Swami, that'll be cool. Hey, thanks for coming by, Rabbit and Red. Good to see you. He's another buddy that's local here in. I'm near DC. I'm not in DC, but I work in DC. And yeah, Rabbit, we need to meet up and have a couple of jams together sometime if you're available. I think you're still down in DC. Talked about buying some bottles to get to DC because sometimes it's hard to get things shipped to Maryland. So I might still have to take you up on that. I've been having some luck with certain distributors, but it's not always a guarantee or always stable. So I might have to still, you know, figure something out with you if you don't mind. Steve Aces, I certainly have you subscribed to already like the stream. Normally I can't make this time, but oh, cool. I'm glad you you got on with the Game of Thrones stream, and it's good to be able to just get notified because that way you know at least the next day you can watch after the fact. That's always cool. How does the Laphroaig open up with a little water? Haven't done the hand filled yet. That's coming next, Mose. Telex, is that Old Particular done by Mr. Lang? Yes, it is, Loch Ness. You're picking Whiskey of the Year, Telex. Yeah, I am going to pick Whiskey of the Year. I'm going to wait till after New York, though, because there's going to be a lot of tasting going on there, and I'll get to that here in a little bit. I've had a couple ideas of what might be Whiskey of the Year, but I'm going to wait until I pick it. I do have my eye on one in particular because I really enjoyed it, and I've had it a couple times at a couple different whiskey events. Thanks for coming by, Strats. Good to see you. And also, Wine Light, always good to see you when you get the chance to stop by. We've let the water, you know, interact for a bit here. So let's see if we get anything a little bit, you know, to tame the spice down the nose at least a little bit. I'm able to get more of the fruit and the vanillas and creams. Still some floral, hay, honey. Some of the good stuff there. Let's see about the spice in the palate. That was the real reason. Still getting my spice, but it's not in my face as much. Brought a little more sweetness that I was looking for. Still a little dry. That's my only thing I'm kind of iffy on. I mean, some people love a dry finish. If that's what you love, this is definitely going to make you happy. I do like it has a medium finish. It's not even though it's dry, it's not completely gone right away. The mouth coat's medium. It's not heavy, but it's not terribly thin either. It's a nice medium. It's a solid dram. It's kind of funny. If you took the pepper out, though, I don't know if because it does have a slight maritime feel to it, but the pepper definitely makes it feel like a Talisker. But if you took the pepper out and you just had the subtle maritime feel, it would probably feel more like a closer to like an Old Pulteney or a trying to think of something similar to that. Maybe like a Scott Ascarian, something like that. Not bad, but just not anything like a Talisker that I would normally, those properties I would get. The pepper, though, is definitely the most prominent feature of this overall. It does need a couple of drops, I think, to kind of tone it down a little bit. This is a great sipper after the fact, though. After a couple of drops of water, the dryness is the only thing I'm still kind of like, oh man, if I could just get a little more, just get a little less dryness out of it. But that's really my only, I don't want to say complaint, but my only, preference that would be changed. But you can't knock that it's got a statement. It's no chill filtering, no color. Yeah, Devil Sling usually does a good job with their the ones I've had, the independent bottles. Neat is okay, but man, that pepper, man, be prepared for black and white pepper tsunami. I mean, it's pretty intense, I'd have to say. Hey, good night to you, Whiskey Shenanigans. Good for you to stop by. Appreciate that you were able to. You start with Talisker, so the smoke dry, or is it more vegetative with iodine? I'm not getting a lot of the TCP iodine or vegetative notes at all. This is more, not smoky. It's just peppery dry, I'd say. White pepper, black pepper dry, really good fruit, really good cream and vanilla. I think I like the nose neat. I like the palate better with a couple drops. Finish is good, but still dry. So, it's good. Out of a 5, I usually give a 5-star rating, 0.25 increments. Price point is what is it, 80? I think that's not bad for 8 years, though. It's a little steep, I would think. I would love to see this more like 65, 70. That would be awesome if you could find it for that. I think that'd be a little more fair. Because but the thing that gets you, I think the reason why the price is a little higher, it's one of $3.93. Not very many out there, unfortunately. But there are other, I think, versions of different years that they've bottled this under the Old Particular. There we go. Talisker 8. I think they've done other years with an 8 still statement, but don't quote me on that. I could have sworn I've seen this in other places, which maybe other versions are similar where they do another 400 bottles, but just a different feel. Kind of like when they did Springbank did a 13 green, and there was like I think 600 bottles or so, however so many. But then they would do another round. It would be a 13. It would be like a 12, and it would be another set of like 300 or 400 bottles. And they've done the similar stuff with like the Bourbon Wood 14. They had a run of it. They didn't run it for like a year or so, and then they brought it back and ran it again. So that might be something that's similar to this, hopefully, because it is worth a try. I think it is worth a try. I would give it, it's better than average. I don't know if it's quite a 4 out of 5, though. It's like a 3.5 to 3.75. It's a couple drops of water. I think it's closer to a 3.75 with neat, better than average, but really heavy on the pepper. I think a 3.5 would be fair. But it can be raised to a 3.75 if you're willing to play around with the water a little bit and get it, kind of at that sweet spot that you're your palate of what I think you're looking for. The Talisker might be good with a nice cigar with pepper notes. Yeah, I don't haven't had a cigar in quite a while, but I could see that as being the only thing that kind of makes me kind of iffy about a cigar is the dryness. A dry dram with a cigar, would that really make it? Would it work out? I mean, I guess it still would, depending on the type of tobacco and stuff they're using. So that is true. All right, let's get ready for the big one here. I just can't believe this. I didn't even know they let you do these hand-drawn samples. If I ever make it to Scotland, man, I'll have to return the favor for somebody. I'm not quite sure who I could do it for, but wow. This is going to be awesome. We're going to go neat first. I need a little cleanse just to get some of that spicy pepper out. I'm surprised Mom didn't make it tonight. Usually she is able to make a stream, but she'll probably watch after the fact tomorrow or so. Anyway, sorry I lost my voice for 1 second. Excuse me. Okay, much better. Laphroaig. Now, going with the mindset of a 10, I'm going to get like TCP, bandage, iodine, maritime, maybe a little seashell, a little some light fruit, but maybe a little pepper, but not near as much as a Talisker. I'm thinking the profile I'm going to get on this, just going by what I know of the 10. This is a few more years, it sounds like, in a cask, if the numbers make sense. That could put a little more into it. It's a nice color. It's like a deep gold color. And let's see if we can get a little... yeah, it looks like it's a nice medium mouth coat, but we'll see about that. Do you get the medicinal notes in the nose? Peat's there, but it's not as in your face. But that actually, the age makes sense if that's the case. Able to really dig in there without getting blasted, which is actually kind of nice. It's not as sweet as a 15. I've actually been lucky enough to have the Laphroaig 15 proper before. A really nice dram. Has some really nice sweet and cola kind of notes to it. Don't get it as intensely on this guy, but I could feel it getting there. It does have some nice sweet fruit qualities to it. Like gumdrops. It's got citrus, but it's not sour citrus. It's more sweet citrus. Really nice light orange, like a yellow gumdrop with a little bit of sugar. I am getting the maritime. Not really any funk. No seashell-y stuff going on. That's okay. Not earthy on the nose. More bright and sweet and medicinal. I can't get over how get a chance to try this. I'm going to savor every bit of it. Wow. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. It's funny. It's like that perfect step between a Laphroaig 10, cast strength even, maybe. This is 50.6. What is our cast strength? It looks like Oh, it's a lot higher, 59.9. So a little lower than cast strength, but the it's definitely more intense than the 10. It's like between the 10 and the 10's cast strength, and it's also between the 10 and the 15. It's like it's on that verge of getting those cola notes and the cotton candy, almost the sweetness, but it's not there yet. But it's a nice between, because once you get to the 15, it's a lot. It's very sweet. And if you're not in the mood for as sweet as Vidram, but if you want something a little more interesting and complex than a standard 10, this is actually where it's at. That's what I'm getting out of this. And cheers, Aqvavitae. Thank you so much for letting me have a sip of this, man. This is insane. It's funny. I went to a Laphroaig tasting here locally recently, and the ambassador was able to find a bottle of 15. Lucky bastard. He went to the border of like Pennsylvania and Maryland and found one. Got it for probably $80 or $90, and aftermarket now it's like $200 or $300. But he brought it in and let us put a part of our flight. We had the Kyrgyz 2015, the Kyrgyz 2017, the 2018, and the standard 15. It was like mostly a Kyrgyz flight, but he got the 15 to, I guess, to kind of compare it with some of their rarities. And this brings back memories, but it's actually a nice mix between the two. You get that younger peat, but you get the nice complex sweetness with it. This is good neat. Wow. That is solid neat. The palate's more complex than the nose even. I like it even better. You can get a little bit of a mango apricot thing going on, which is different from the 10 and the 15. It's kind of makes it its own original kind of a taste. Don't remember ever getting that from a Laphroaig, really, mango or apricot notes from one. Even from their Kyrgyz series, because the Amontillado is a buttery popcorn kind of a feel. The Madeira is a sweet berry, raspberry, those kind of fruits, medium red mixed berry fruits. The 2015 was just kind of a nice barley-esque, malty dram. The quarter cast strength. It's hard to. I guess they'd be maybe similar, but it's not. This is definitely more tropical. And then they have the Fino as their newest, which is completely different. The Aquamore is not tropical. The QA cast is more vanilla. PX cast, of course, is more like sweet, syrupy. The wood is oaky, and it is what the name says basically. Quarter cask, no. And the select is definitely just a mild entry level. I can't think of anything that tastes like that. So it's definitely one of a kind, man. I can't believe this Aqvavitae is very nice. So yeah, wow. I can't believe it. it's exceptionally balanced. You're right, Mos. This is insanely good, I have to say. He spoiled me on this one, I have to say. And wow, I'm not sure if I'll be able to find a fitting sample or something, but I'll send them something. I hope. It's not like any of the Kyrgyz ones that I've ever had. That's what I was going through. Everyone is trying to figure out, like, because the port I've had is nothing like it. The only Kyrgyz I have not had yet is the I've had a 2013 on. So 2012, 11, 9, and 8, the really, really ultra old 4, I haven't had those. I've had the 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I've had 6 of the new ones. I'm missing 4 of the old ones. That's the only ones I would think of this might be comparative to, but I doubt it. I don't think they've ever really had that type of profile. Even the 18 might have a little smidgen of it, because the 18 is extremely complex, and it's one of the best whiskeys I've ever had, but it's got so much going on. This is more of a, it's complex, but it's definitely strong enough because it's younger, I think, to give you those really nice. It's more assertive flavors. It kind of has a groove-esque. Ardbeg's Groove has got those tropical kind of notes. That's more of a charred whiskey. This doesn't have the charred stuff going on, but the fruit notes are similar. Huh. And the finish. This is not, even though it does have the salty brininess, it's not overly peppery, even though it might be a little smidgen of white pepper in there. It's not near as dry as that Old Particular was. And the apricot's going forever on this guy, and mango still going on. Interesting. There's no smoke really to it. I mean, there is peat, but it's such a really nice blend that it's a nice meld of that. So it's not overly bandagey TCP iodine, but it's not overly fruity. It's just kind of like in the nice, it sits in the middle, and that's what the finish keeps going on with. It does peter out, I guess, after a little bit. Medium, I'd say, not overly long, but enough to make it pleasant and make you want to drink more of it. So. Yeah, I don't think this is going to last very long, Roy, unfortunately, but that's good. That means I like it. I'm going to have to definitely end the night with that one, because that's awesome. That's just amazing. I really appreciate it. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to do some trading in the future, not just for Roy and Bobby, but anybody else that's got some things that they got extra stuff, and if they are looking to get something a little different, then I'm all open for that as well. Most says, I'm guessing this is only distillery exclusive. There will be no bottles in the open market. Yeah, this is something that you can get at the distillery, from what I think he said. I'm not sure, like, if he had to pay something in particular to do it, or if it was like part of a package that he got while he was at the distillery. But it is something you actually have to hand drawn. You have to do it at the distillery in Laphroaig to get one. So, yeah, this show is a little bit tough, because it's not something, you can pick up the Old Talisker 8, I think, still. It might not be exactly the 2009 to 2018 bottle, but I think you can still find that a bit. This other guy, though, is more of just goes to show that, with whiskey, it's like you never know who you're going to run into and what their tastes are and what they might be willing to share. And if you can return the favor, then it definitely it reciprocates, and it goes back and forth. Like, I've done the same thing with Scotch for Dummies and some distillery group things that I've done with. And Pranay, I haven't forgot about your ABCDE back there. I have to take part in that soon. He sent, this was outside of Scotch, so I didn't do a show on it, but he sent me one from India, one from Scotland, one American, and I got to figure out, like, where they are as far as what part of the world I think that they came from. So that's going to be an interesting deal, where then I might have to figure out, like, if one has if it has oaky notes, like, where did the wood come from, that kind of stuff. So it's going to be an interesting challenge. I have not had time to do it yet, and I've been trying to be lenient on my liver. That's one thing I'll go into, well, I'm going to pour the rest of this Old Talisker, this Old Particular 8. And thanks again, Bobby. And enjoy that while I talk about New York next week. We're going to be the Scotch for Dummies and Bob H, KB, I think will be there. We're going up to New York for the Whiskey Fest. And it's going to be, I think, a really fun time. I thought I was just going to get to go up on the Tuesday and have to come back the next day, but I'm actually going to be able to go on Monday, stay Tuesday, and then come back Wednesday. Monday, so I can't talk about anything particular yet, unfortunately, because there's still things being ironed out. But there's going to be a couple of things Monday that are going to be really nice. If I can film some of this stuff or live stream it or whatever, I will do so. The only reason I might not be able to is sound, if there's like a sound issue going on, or if there's no Wi-Fi, or if also there's always that possibility that the place I'm at, and there will be one function that's actually hosted by a company, they might not allow me to do it. So, but if I can, I will. I planned on doing the last Whiskey Fest I did. The problem was that when I got into the room, there was like a live string quartet playing that was extremely loud. So there's no way I would have been able to talk with ambassadors, and the lines were very long. It took like 5 minutes just to get in there. You had to kind of pull your way in there just to get a dram. It's hard to film in that kind of environment. But since now I'm going to be bringing a couple bottles, other people are going to be having some bottles. We're going to have a hotel room. I'll be staying in the same hotel with the dummies. So I think we'll have a couple opportunities, at least to do a couple, even if it's short, like review of something. I plan on bringing a Highland Park Cask Strength 25 exclusive malts Creative Whiskey Company. That is going to be a kick-ass bottle. I also plan on bringing a Kilchoman Impex. It's a special cask, and it's supposed to be a really nice sherry bomb. I have seen a couple reviews for it. You can't find it very many places, but there's always that possibility. So I am going to, I think, bring that, maybe do a review of that one as well. And it's priced a little, it's better. It's like I think it's like $150, and that Highland Park bottle runs like $325, so it's a bit of a difference. And the funny thing was, the guy that I get this through thought that the exclusive malts 25 cask strength was better than the distillery's 25, and that goes for $500. So that tells you something as well. So, and they have more than one bottle. They actually have two. Hey, Bobby, I'm glad you got to stop by. It's funny. I already went through all my notes you'll have to rewind to get the notes on the Old Particular 8, but I poured myself another the rest of the glass, so I did like it. A little dry for me, but that's my only beef. Everything else was spot on, great. I love the nose neat. I liked a couple of drops on it for the palate. It's very spicy, black and white pepper, and but I went through all of that on the beginning. So if you don't mind, take a little rewind and take a listen tomorrow if you get a chance. So Loch Ness says, I've got the Ben Nevis 17 Old Particular, the Advent calendar. Ooh, that sounds really good, man. I've had a 10, a lot of really nice sulfuric notes I like on it. Never had a 17. I've heard there's a nice, I think there's like a distillery 18 out there, but they charge like $150-ish for it. It's a little, I mean, it's not horribly priced, but it's up there. So that's one you can't just find in the store. You have to kind of order that one. So that could be maybe a future purchase, we'll say. Yeah, but once you could put a couple drops on this guy, really nice, nice spiciness to it. Something the vintages eights did not suffer from. Yeah, it's I do like the power of it, though. I like the fact that it's a little younger. It would have been interesting if it did have a little more smoke or a little more peat, but it has a really nice maritime, and it has the nice black white pepper to it. that aspect I do enjoy, and it's got the nose really remind me of a Japanese whiskey. Um, it's a really nice fruit and really nice light floral notes in the back too, which kind of surprised me that it was a Talisker. I'm getting this like almost Japanese-esque nose on it. It's just bizarre. Palate's not anything like that, but the nose is what startled me at the beginning, and then that pepper hits you. It's like, wow, that's a big difference. But I can't wait to get up there. And of course, the next day, Tuesday, is when the Whiskey Fest is. And someone asked about Whiskey of the Year. I haven't picked it yet. I'm going to wait, I think, until I do a big thought process after this last festival, because we have a month still left. And, of course, for the year, it's hard to just pick, Whiskey of the Year with a whole month left. One that's really high in the running is the Highland Park 17, the Dark. That whiskey I've had on numerous occasions at different tastings. It's consistently good, and everyone I've heard that's tried it with me has enjoyed it very, very much. It's a very high price, though. I don't have a bottle myself. It's like $300, so it's extremely expensive. For me, I mean, I think it's extremely expensive. So that's the piece that makes it hard to pick as Whiskey of the Year. But yeah, I mean, it does have a really nice age statement, 17 years. It's got a great color. I don't know if they color it. I would hope not, being a sherry influenced 17-year whiskey. I hope they don't have to color it. I'd be surprised if they chill filter it, because I think it has a higher ABV, but don't quote me on it. It's very solid. It's very nice. Everyone's got a point with the Old Particular 17 has been discontinued, unfortunately. They do have a new they have a 12. Is it a 16 and an 18? I can't remember the year ranges they have now, because they got rid of the 17 and 21. Now they still have the 12, and I think they brought a new, either a 15 and an 18, or I can't remember how they did it, but I haven't tried the new versions yet. That would be something that, if I could do it before the month runs out, that would be awesome. Glen Scotia 15 is a really nice whiskey, and it's extremely affordable at $70, 65 to 70. It's pretty damn solid, I have to say. I wish I had more of it. There's my box sitting there. Next to the really good Victoriana as well. I think I like the 15 a little better, even though Victoriana is a little higher priced and a little maybe more complex. People that love Kilkerran 12 are going to love the Victoriana, I think, as well. I have a couple buddies that are just as picky as I am with Scotch, and they do also like the Victoriana a lot. So that is something to keep on the radar. 15, 18, and 25, not in America yet. Okay, everyone, I appreciate it. That makes sense, because I haven't seen it, and I have seen some other new releases from, like, Jura's got a new line, and I think Glen Rothus has a new line. Haven't tried any of those yet, but it's on the radar, and I'm still kind of hitting some distillers I haven't hit yet earlier, that I'm still kind of doing rounds on. It's on the to-do list, though. I've got a very big to-do list. But yeah, that's the thing. And the Kyrgyz 2018 from Laphroaig is definitely in the top. I'd say 1 to 3 on first Whiskey of the Year. It's very well done. That new Lagavulin 9 that just came out for the Game of Thrones series is very well done for $65, $70 as well. It's very close to the 16, but the 16 also is got a higher age and about the similar price. It's more closer to 80, but 70 to 80, $10 for 9 to 16. And similar taste profile. It's kind of I don't know. If I could count the Lagavulin 18 for shill for this year, I might. I have not opened that yet. That's going to be a Christmas, I think, opening for that bottle, closer to the end of the year. If not Christmas, then maybe New Year's. That one I have been trying not to open yet. I've heard it's incredibly Yeah, good. Yeah, Lagavulin 9 is definitely on my, I think, top three next to the Shield and even the standard 16. So um, it's kind of hard to pick too. I mean, the Kilhoman original cast strength. I can't remember if I got that this year or last year, or when it. I mean, it comes out every couple of years, really. That's a really nice bottle. I love Kilhoman, and that one's probably one of my. It's probably my second favorite next to the red wine cast matured, which I'm not sure what year that came out. If they have to come out this year, it's hard to pick. If it's just a whiskey that I've tried this year, then I can definitely make it easier on myself, I think, picking it out. I'll have to go through my old videos, I think, for the year and just pick like maybe a top three and talk about it maybe in the next video that we do in New York or something. It's not a bad idea, perhaps. Well, I'm going to wrap it up, guys. I really appreciate everybody stopping by, and it's been fun as always. And don't forget your whiskey brethren. It's awesome to be able to try some of these things you normally wouldn't be able to get. And I got to figure out a way to get a hold of Aqvavitae and see if we can, if I can do something for them. And if I ever get a chance to get over there, I'll have to maybe meet up for a dram sometime. I've been talking with the wife on trying to figure out a way to get over there. It might take me a couple of years though to save up that kind of cash, but that's definitely a trip I'd love to make in the next year or two. And I don't care if it's freaking, I don't think she's going to want to go, but if it's snowing 3 feet of snow in January, I'd be like happy, because if I'm snowed in for extra days, it means I get to stay at the Isla Hotel. And who wants to leave that place, man? They got whiskeys all over the place that you can't find anywhere, probably outside of there at a bar. Yeah, so much of talking, and hope to see you soon, and you as well for everyone, and yeah, well, it'll be fun. Can't wait to. I'll probably turn on a stream like around. I'm thinking. I don't know if I get a chance to this weekend. I might do something. I got a Cardio 18. I've been meaning to review one, and maybe something else on the side. If I don't get a chance, and if I want to give the liver a rest before we get there on Monday, I might just wait to turn on the stream on Monday and go from there. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Kenneth, as well, and Ryan. And cheers. Yeah, I think it'll be good. This will be my fourth festival type thing event going to, and I've always had a good time. I mean, I've had some letdowns with expectations of a couple of distilleries, but the people that come make it such an enjoyable experience with their own bottles and sharing and stuff. So it's, it all makes up for it in the long run. Even if someone says they're going to bring something like a distillery and they don't come through, so it's all good. And Lee, Paul, if you're watching, hopefully I run into you guys sooner or later. We'll have to hopefully hook up sometime. They came to see me in DC and had a great time. So hopefully we get to do that again soon. Yep, thanks a lot, Mose. And Tosh, if you're watching later on, I'll have to get a call with you, and we'll have to meet up at the Ginya ramen bar there in DC and have a dram as well. I like going out there, so hopefully I'll get a chance to come back. See you guys.